Welcome to The Cameron Show. I'm your friend Cameron Tyler, and I am so happy you're here today at our new home in Dude IDK Studios in Denver. We no longer are in my house with producer Michael, but now we have producer Nicholas and producer Jacob. We're in very good hands. I'm also so excited today to be welcoming my first guest friend of season 2. It's so fitting because in season 1, I started with my ex-husband, and in season 2, we're starting with my girl husband, Mackenzie Proctor. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, all the way from Philadelphia, by the way. It's so weird because when I introduced you just now, I almost called you Mackenzie Martin.
Oh,
throwback.
That is a throwback.
That's
it's
how
been
I
a
met
while.
Mackenzie, and we will completely and totally get into our relationship. But before we do, I'm going to start this episode the way I start every episode. So I have 2 questions I ask every guest, as you know, because in addition to being a fabulous friend, she's an avid listener of The Cameron Show.
Of course, always.
The first question I have is, if you were to close your eyes and envision your aura, what color do you see?
So, I've thought a lot about this.
She did. She knew it was coming.
I know I did. Yellow.
Oh. And you probably know you're one of the first and only people to say yellow. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something to do with the new space. Why yellow?
I just feel like I have a sunny disposition overall.
Well.
Is
You do. You famously do.
pretty vibrant, I would say.
Famously.
But I did recently get my aura read, and it came back pink and purple, and it sort of like radiated out, and it was kind of indicating like empathy. The purple was like royalty, crown, but then it sort of like navigated to the head. And so then the person reading it was like, do you get headaches a lot? Like, are you in your head a lot? And I was like, you have no idea.
That actually is wild that you say that.
Yeah, funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. First of all, I love that you feel yellow, but that your aura said pink and purple because, and I will read the exact excerpt later, but I obviously write about you in my book because we've been friends for a very long time.
We have.
And I describe, like, the metaphor that I use to describe you as spring.
Aw.
So that's so funny. Yellow, pink, and purple are so spring.
That is true.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, in case our friends at home are not familiar with you, which maybe some of them aren't, we'll see. If you were introducing yourself to someone new and they didn't know you at all, and you had to describe yourself in 10 words or less, how would you describe yourself?
Bleeding heart.
Oh, that's so good. Do you want to just leave it at 2 words?
Yeah, I kind of do.
You are a bleeding heart, and
in the best way.
In the best way, and I can honestly say that describes you in every aspect of your life. You're a bleeding heart of a mother. You're a bleeding heart of a wife, about social issues, social justice, about your work, certainly about your friendships. Yeah. We'll also talk about that. And I think that's actually perfect. You're definitely the first person who said, you know what? I only need 2 words.
I mean, sums it up. And I am very wordy, so.
I know. That's actually why else I feel stunned right now.
Shook.
That's amazing. I'm shooketh to the gods. So just to give some background on the artist formerly known as Mackenzie Martin, currently and forever from now on, Mackenzie Proctor. Mackenzie and I met in January of 2010, and it's because we were in the same Chicano Studies class at Metro in Denver. And this is like a thing that I used to do often that I don't really do anymore, but I was notorious for doing it in my late teens and early 20s, is I would sincerely see a girl that I thought was really pretty, and I would just say, excuse me, you're so pretty. Do you want to be friends with me? And that's how I came to know Mackenzie. Mackenzie was in my Chicano Studies class. She had redder hair back then.
I did, yeah. It was a bottle red.
It was a bottle red. It was gorgeous. I just remember she had really red lipstick, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, that girl's so pretty. And obviously very kind aura. The golden aura, it has always been there. Actually, Mackenzie's one of the few people who's mentioned in my book. This is my memoir, A Mural in Space, a gay boy's memoir. And I thought, since Mackenzie is one of the only guests that we have on the show that is written about in the book, I would just read about when you came into my world. So, page 222, which, by the way, that's crazy to me that there could be 222 pages of my life before you came in.
That is crazy.
I feel like you've been there forever.
Yeah. Also, isn't that like an angel number? Like
222.
Yeah, I wonder what it means.
That you're an angel.
I mean,
we know it ain't me,
I
babes.
was like, you're going to find that out.
So, this is after I had a falling out with my best friend, the artist currently known as Emma Rowland. I wrote, enter Mackenzie Martin, who taught me the winter wouldn't last. Mackenzie and I had been friends since the first year of college. Ironically, I met her with Emma in our Chicano studies class. You're so pretty. We should be friends, I told the beautiful stranger, immediately drawn in by her red hair and even redder lipstick. As it turned out, in addition to being gorgeous, Mackenzie was also the most independent of my friends in the earliest days of college. She moved out from her parents' house and into her own one-bedroom long before anyone else our age, splitting most of her time outside of school between two jobs. Right? The Gap, and you were a barista.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked your ass off.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I was going to say that sounded like code for being poor, because that's how...
I mean, you were poor.
Yeah, I was so poor.
Girl, we were all poor.
I was so poor.
I'll read one more paragraph. Her heart was equally independent, forever unable to conceal her feelings. Still true.
Yeah.
Anything from a sprinkle to a thunderstorm was possible when she was sad. When she was happy, the most glorious sunshine of her laugh warmed everyone within its reach. Still true.
Aww.
She loved love. Still true.
Absolutely.
Marveling at every romance she encountered on a screen, in book pages, or in real life. She was a walking manifestation of the sun to me. Yellow. And after I'd written Emma out of my life, I was in dire need of a defrost. And just like that.
Aww.
So yes, we became friends very quickly. And fast forward a couple years into our friendship, you became the first and only adult person to ever share a home with me.
I'm about to spill some secrets.
It started out fabulously. No, for the most part, it was a very fabulous time in our early 20s.
Yeah,
it was at the end of
best
college.
time. Yeah.
We shared a townhouse that I had lived in formerly. And unfortunately, that did eventually cause me to have a complete mentee B.
Complete and total mental breakdown.
A complete and total mental breakdown in which Mackenzie was unfortunately caught in the crossfire. Read the book if you want all the details. But the thing that you have to know is that we were living together for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we did everything together. I was called the boy wife. You were called the girl husband. Mm-hmm. And I mean, talk to me about the things that stand out to you about when we lived together. Like, when you think of, like, if someone were to say, oh, you lived with Cameron, what was that time like? What comes to mind?
Chaos.
I mean, not wrong. We were also young in our early 20s. I mean, when we moved in, I was 22.
Yeah.
So were you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like so much fun. We had the best time. Like, you know, it's like living with your best friend, like early 20s. Like,
yeah.
You know, we would always... You'd always drag me along to Starbucks and restaurants, and always like,
girl, let's go somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, your favorite thing was like, oh, don't pay for that. You're poor.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, she was working two jobs. She was.
Yeah. It's not wrong. I was poor. I was very poor.
That's called socialism.
And you had a much more stable and secure job than I did.
And I wasn't rich by any means, to be clear. I just was richer.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think billionaires should take notes.
Yeah.
They should say, don't pay for that, you're poor.
Yeah, exactly.
A note to Taylor Swift. Just kidding. A note to all the male billionaires. I only said that because Mackenzie and I last night had a whole conversation about this at 3 a.m. while we should have been sleeping.
Yeah.
We did have a slumber party last night.
We did.
So we did sleep.
Old times. It was very much like reminiscent of like yelling across the hall to each other.
Honestly, it was, especially at 3:30 in the complete dark when you
Yeah.
just said, do you read? And I was just like, I need to go to sleep.
And I'm like, wait, are you still awake?
It was amazing. It was a throwback. So, anyways, we had a fabulous time. We went out a lot. I obviously was not in my sober era as I am now. Neither were you. We were both single and living it up.
Yeah, having fun.
So, anyone who's read the book will know I had a mentee be like a year and a half into living together. And basically what happened is I could not live at the townhouse anymore for my own personal reasons. And it was very sudden that this kind of all came crumbling down. And this townhouse we rented from my mother. Mackenzie's familiar. Yes.
Well, she's unforgettable.
Yes. Listeners of the podcast know that right now my mother and I are estranged after a very long journey of probably we should have been estranged for a long time. Anyways, my mom, when she knew I didn't want to live at the townhouse anymore, was like, great, the market's a great time for selling. So you and your friend need to get out now then, and I'm going to sell it. Unfortunately, this coincided with the last term of your college career.
Yeah. Well, and also too, so as you'll find out, I'm a dietitian.
Yeah.
And you have to do an internship to become a dietitian. And I had applied for a bunch of internships, some that were out of state. And I was gonna hear back about them probably like a month or so after all of this happened. Yeah. So I was gonna like have to maybe move anyways. So it wasn't like the most convenient time, you know, to have this all happen in like March of that. What was this, 2015?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, March of 2015. And I was going to like find out in April of 2015 and then like sort of make some moves. So it was like not the best time for me. And also like the end of my, you know, college career, right? Like I was, you know, doing finals and, you know, getting ready to graduate.
And you had just started dating the man who is now your husband.
Yeah, that is true.
And with very limited options, where did you move?
In with him.
After like 2 months of dating.
It was truly,
I like to think, you're welcome.
We sort of like took it as like, it's going to work or it's not. So
yeah.
Like, I guess if, you know, this is the best option, you know, and it was like just for financial reasons. And I had lived with a previous boyfriend and it was terrible. Having to move out after living with somebody, and so I vowed to like never do that again.
Yeah.
And then there I was doing that, but I would like to say that, you know, after two kids and a house and a life together, I think it worked out.
It certainly was a very difficult time for our friendship, which we were 5 years into our friendship when this happened.
Yeah.
And when this happened, I felt so bad. But I couldn't live there anymore. And I couldn't control what my mom was doing. But at the same time, admittedly, I did nothing to stop what was happening because I was completely checked out. So I really thought this is going to be the end of our friendship. I was like, there's no way. If I were her, I would never talk to me again. And thank God you are a very forgiving person because it took only till later that year. I mean, I think this happened in like February or March, and I went to your graduation party in May.
That was like
olive
branch, I feel like.
Yes, you extended an olive branch by inviting me to your graduation party.
Yeah.
And that was when I knew, okay, I think actually we're going to be okay, which is wild because, I mean, you can attest to this. In my early 20s, I was very good at writing things off. If I thought it's not going to work, done with it.
Yeah.
Throw it out.
Yeah.
So for all these reasons and more, very special person to me, my queen, my icon, my goddess. She's married to a fabulous man named Alec, who also has incidentally seen me at my worst. Talk about caught in the crossfire.
Wait, can you just say the time where you knew that Alec was going to stick around? Like, can you tell everybody?
I knew that I adored him immediately because you guys were just friends at first. You met in summer school in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over as your friend.
Yeah.
And I had seen you go on many a date leading up to this. And when he came over, I was was I getting a new mattress or something?
I think we both had got like mattress toppers like for our mattresses, and they had to like go inside of like a mattress protector thing.
Yes, and I had to take the mattress off my bed. And Mackenzie and I we shared the townhouse, obviously. Our bedrooms.
Like, we shared a bedroom.
We did not share a bedroom or a bed.
Not. I actually got the primary suite in the house because I am the princess.
She could have her own bedroom, and I wanted my old room from when I used to live there. So we both shared the upstairs, is what I wanted to say. So like across the hall, as he was helping her, he could see me struggling for my life in my room, trying to maneuver the mattress by myself, and he came over and he helped me. And then I was like, marry him. And then I orchestrated a whole mental breakdown just so you'd have to move in with him. Just kidding.
I wish. He's giving himself so much credit. I'm like, my husband is the best.
Yeah, he truly is the best. I would have orchestrated a mental breakdown just to keep him in the picture. He is a perfect angel. So, long story short, after this, you and Alec and I all become friends again. Everything's hunky-dory for a few years until you decide to move your asses to Philadelphia after getting married and letting me officiate.
Oh, yes. In this...
Both weddings.
Yeah, in the secret wedding.
We did a secret wedding.
If anybody doesn't know about the secret wedding, now you do.
Now you do. Their anniversary is actually a year before everyone thinks it is.
Yep.
We had a little 3-person wedding, just us 3 at a park.
Yep.
I officiated. We signed the paper, dropped it off at City Hall, and went to lunch at the Melting Pot.
Yeah, we did.
And then a year later, you had your real wedding, and I got to officiate in front of everyone, which was lovely.
Yes.
But then you deserted me, and you went to Philadelphia.
How could we?
How could you?
I know. Our lives revolve around you.
I mean, now they might move back, so that would be great. I think they should. Now they have 2 beautiful kids. We're obsessed. And yeah, just like that. Here we are. 34 years old, having sleepovers, guesting on my podcast. So as you said, you're a dietitian.
I am.
Talk to me about why you wanted to be a dietitian. How did you always want to do it? Talk to me about the whole thing.
So initially I wanted to be a nurse. And then I did training to become a CNA. That's kind of like one of the first steps they recommend that you do. And it was disgusting. So bless anybody who does that. You are amazing, incredible.
Iconic.
I cannot.
No.
You know, and I have kids, and there's a lot of gross stuff that happens, you know, having kids. And I was like, I definitely couldn't. So anyways, you know, something that was really important to me, just like career-wise, was, you know, teaching, like in some capacity, you know, and who knows why I didn't want to be a teacher, but I just kind of wanted to like teach. And I also have type 1 diabetes, so I think that you know, was kind of like the driving force for a lot of things, because I've come across a lot of like medical professionals in my life. And some of them have been like really impactful and amazing. And I like wanted to do that for somebody, you know. I had, you know, dietitians in the past that I, you know, had to work with, that made everything seem so easy. You know, I've had like practitioners that make, you know, these really complex things seem so easy. And I just like wanted to do that for someone, you know, for my career. And so that's kind of like, you know, why I wanted to become a dietitian, and it sort of like evolved throughout my career as well.
Well, I love that you're a dietitian because you provide very valuable feedback. In fact, the reason that I wanted you to come on the podcast, like the reason why this conversation started about bringing you on, is because obviously, in addition to our very unique origin story, you noticed in the first season of the Cameron Show, which I did not notice, is that we actually talked about body issues a lot. Mm-hmm. This is funny to me because I realized actually after finishing writing A Mural in Space, I realized, you know what? For writing a coming-of-age memoir, in the book, I don't talk a lot about my body issues.
Right.
But I've always had them. Like, I do mention in the book pretty quickly that when I was a kid, I was in musical theater, and then I quit because when I was, like, 12, I felt too fat. And I didn't want to be in the theater company anymore because they would line us up and they would make us do fittings in front of each other and our measurements, and
That is so messed up.
and they would compare us to each other and be like, oh, so and so's got this, like, why can't you maybe don't eat so much chocolate, well, like, whatever. They would make comments like this.
Oof.
And I really didn't think about it for a long time. And then I was thinking back and I was like, okay, in the book there's also like one mention of when I'm hooking up and I'm self-conscious about my body because the guy that I'm hooking up with is so hot and muscular and lean. But other than that, I don't really talk about it, but it's like a very constant thing that I think about, certainly. And like I went on Morgan Gallo's podcast and talked in depth about this. And I remember like my friend Chad came on the podcast and we talked about it. And like when Molly came on, Molly Smith of Dude IDK's podcast, Did That Age Well, also came on my show. We talked about it. And so you clocked it and you're like, did you know, like on your show, you actually talk a lot about food, body image, stuff like that.
Yeah, eating disorders.
Disordered eating.
Yeah.
Disordered eating for sure.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of insight about it. You really do. I mean, we were having a conversation this morning about, for instance, like Ozempic culture. And as a dietitian, like in the state that we're in right now with everything going on, and obviously this is going to be like a multifaceted question.
Yeah,
so
of
feel
course,
free to
yeah.
give bullet points.
Yeah.
But like, what are the main issues or the main conversations that you find yourself having that seem relevant or current? Like such as maybe Ozempic culture or like the perception of what skinny is versus healthy, stuff like that.
So I should probably mention I work with clients who have eating disorders, disordered eating. I haven't always like done that in my career. I did like, you know, more clinical type things, and I like moved to food service. And then I just kind of felt, you know, moving from food service where I was working with like or teenagers, I guess, like 18-year-olds and like college campus, and sort of hearing, you know, some of the things that they were saying or like that they would come to me for. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is such important work, right? These are like really important things. So then I kind of navigated into the eating disorder, disordered eating, body image kind of space. Things that I taught, you know, I work outpatient with people. And mostly virtual, actually, which I feel like should go without saying is like much more accessible for people.
Totally.
And I love that I do that, and that I'm able to do that. But we talk about so many different things, you know, and everybody's eating disordered food journey, all of that is like very different. But kind of in terms of like Ozempic and, you know, diet culture, and when we talk about diet culture, it kind of like encompasses everything, is like this, you know, huge conglomerate, like, and it extends from like, yeah, Ozempic, but then also all the way to like how on your Tupperware packaging, when you buy a new set of Tupperware, it you know, has boiled chicken and broccoli displayed sort of on there in the package, you know, like
yeah, it does.
Yeah, like so, like that literally happened to me where I was looking at it and I was like, that's super curious. Like, do people not put like cookies or like spaghetti or like other types of food in their Tupperware? Like, no, this is just going to primarily be used for this, like, and might I add, whitewashed version of, you know, sort of healthism.
Oh my God, I've never thought about that, but that is true.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm going to go look at all the Tupperware labels when I go to the store.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's so subtle. And, you know, something, you know, that my director has said is like, once you see diet culture, you can't unsee diet culture. And it's very true.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting now that we're a little bit further into the world of Ozempic, I feel like, because I feel even as recently as last year, I feel like it was really touted as like a miracle drug. And I mean, primarily it came out as like a thing for people who have diabetes, right?
Yeah, who have type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes, but now it's just like widespread.
Like off-label use.
Like I get ads for it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's just so wild because like the conversation we were having this morning was like really linked between that and skinny doesn't necessarily mean healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's just like you cannot tell someone's health status just by looking at them, right? And our culture is riddled with fat phobia, and
it is,
and it continues to get worse with again with these sorts of things of like where these weight loss drugs. And I just want to say I am all about bodily autonomy. Like if that is a choice that you make for yourself, like by all means make that choice. We are not here to
not shaming anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, not shaming anybody and not trying to take any bodily autonomy away. It's just like I feel like there's not a lot of follow-up on this, that like people are being prescribed this. It's a lifelong drug. It has like some pretty intense side effects, and it definitely slows down like your digestive tract. Like that is what it's kind of meant to do. It dulls your hunger cues and your fullness cues, and a lot of what you need and use in your day-to-day life to like continue like living and thriving, right? Is like we rely on those hunger cues to like tell us when we're hungry, and it's often coded as like sort of food noise, and it's like no, that's just like your body's like normal thing that it does to like let you know like, hey, it's time to eat.
Hunger cues. Now, what I also love about you being a dietitian is that you make me feel better often about my habits, because something that I am so wide open about is the fact that I am a night owl. You know this, and I've always been this way. I'm not a sleeper.
Yeah.
I am I'm going to probably die at 45, knock on wood. Knock on wood. Because I sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night. Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly doing something or thinking about something or making something or whatever, brewing about something, stewing. And like last night when Mackenzie flew in last night, by the way, delayed flight, didn't land until after midnight.
Yeah.
And, she hadn't eaten dinner. So we stopped at McDonald's on the way home. And I was just like, to be honest, this is like not out of the norm for me. Because if I'm ever craving McDonald's at midnight, I am the person that just might go out and get it. I'm the person that just might have it delivered, TBH. I'm not lazy.
Right?
And so I was like talking about that, and you were kind of just like, well, also like your body might just be hungry. Like, because I think for me, it's so easy to know that I have what is considered a bad habit. And by the way, I'm not saying eating McDonald's at midnight is a good habit. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is...
You could just say it's neutral. We're neutral about it. It's just a thing that happens.
It's just something that happens, exactly. I think that, like, it's very easy to label things as bad and almost, like, link what would be what a doctor would say is a bad habit with, like, being a bad person or something.
Yeah.
It's really easy to feel guilty about it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And to kind of just, like, last night you were like, well, you could also explore, like, why do you feel that hunger, like that hunger cue at nighttime? Is it because you didn't eat enough during the day? Is it out of like boredom? Is it out of like
hold on, I would never say out of boredom. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, like or like is it the time of day or whatever?
Right.
Like what is the reason?
Timing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, talk to me about that though. That was a very strong reaction.
Well, because here's the thing: people often say like, "Oh, I'm eating out of boredom," and I'm like, hold the phone, because we have to assess if you are eating enough, right? Like people actually think that and I'm like, I'm gonna
go on the high horse, girl.
I was gonna get on my soapbox.
Do it, please.
Well, everything I think within our culture is just so guilt and shame based, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like this selling of like this one size kind of fits all. If I do this, then that has to be good for you. And if I, can look this way or eat this way or exercise this way, like, then you do the same things and you're going to look the same way. And like, that's not the case, right? Like, we could all eat the same things, exercise the same, all of that. And there's still going to be differences and variances in there. So it's like, all of this is very nuanced. And we're constantly just kind of sold this like individualized responsibility kind of and morality, to your point of like, if you do this and like you're a bad person, or if you do this you're like sort of a good person, you're like mentally high-fiving yourself when you like skip a meal, or you eat a salad for lunch and you don't eat any, like all of that stuff. And so all that to say
nobody eats out of boredom?
Not necessarily. I don't think so, because it's like, again, it is a very, and again, 4 hours of sleep, late night. But that oftentimes people are not eating enough, and that we have to look at other reasons why that may be. So that could be not eating enough through like the like the current day, or like the last week, or like you're going through something in life and like your eating patterns are kind of like messed up. I think in my work, and I've been at this job for 3 years now, often I've maybe seen like 1 to 2 people where I feel like I could say that it was like actual boredom, or actually binge eating for comfort.
Oh, I mean, actually that does make sense to me, because if you think about it, when you're bored, there's lots of things you can do.
Yeah.
So like if you fill that time with eating, it's probably not only because you're bored, because there's other things you could do if you're bored.
Yeah. And like a lot of times it's like just a biological driver. Like if you have restriction, there's always going to be like some sort of compensation for that. Like your body, it will keep track of that, right? Like even though like diet culture, or there's another aspect of this of like medical fat phobia, and sort of like what we're being told from doctors, and that weight loss is kind of always the solution.
Yeah.
I lost where I was going.
Well, I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. Let me ask you this. This is a little more personal.
Okay.
So as a dietitian, but also as a woman, and as a mom, and as a wife, and as a friend, and as a consumer, what are, I guess, the conflicting things that you might feel between your identity not as a dietitian and your identity as a dietitian? Like, for instance, this morning when we're having this conversation, you're like, all right, I'm taking off my professional hat for a minute.
Right.
Like, what are some examples of like, because I can say, whether I'm speaking from like an HR point of view and then not, or whether I'm speaking from a writer point of view and then not, there's always some clashing of the identities, right?
Yeah.
So what are some examples for you as a dietitian of like, this is what I would say usually on the record, but then sometimes this might be what it feels like on a certain day as a human?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like also very much goes to like that like professional / like personal thing.
Totally.
Where I can feel a certain, but like this is like for other people too. Like you can think and know one thing on a very logical level.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel something completely different, because at the end of the day, you're a human being and you exist in this world that is extremely fat phobic, getting even more so. Like, guys, we were so close, and then we were so close, and then sort of like the Ozempic boom, and like also there's a lot of turmoil in the world right now, and what you end up doing is like internalizing that and being like, what can I fix? Like, what can I do? I can make myself smaller. I can make myself more appealing to the world. I can meet these kinds of standards. Like that's something that I can do. It's like I always like, I'm a very visual person, so I like when you're on a spiral, or like one of those like marble games where you're like, are we going to drop the marble? Are we going to spiral today?
Oh
and
my
you
God.
drop the marble, it's going down. And you're riding the marble and you're pulling at everything and you're like, I hate my body, I hate myself, I hate all of these things because of the spiral and the chaos that's like kind of occurring in the world.
Oh my God, I never thought of that.
So that's what's driving a lot of this, I think.
Honestly, I could see that, especially like as you work with a lot of people who have eating disorders or struggling with eating disorders. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with control, like something someone can control in a lot of cases. I mean, that completely makes sense. I mean, I know that for me, I could easily talk about what I view as like healthy eating. And I talk a lot about like, well, this is really what I should be eating, but like, this is what I do. And yeah, like you said, there's even if it's not your profession, there's always like, well, here's what the logical advice is.
Yeah. Or just like the logic of like knowing that like my value as a human being is so much more than my body. Actually has nothing to do with my body. And yet at the end of the day, I have been in many different bodies throughout my lifetime, as will everyone. Go through many different bodies, and for me, like in particular, having children and having to meet yourself, at different stages and not having clothes fit. Like, again, I'm still a human being, right? Like it still feels bad when like this is what is sort of being messaged to me, from society and media and, all of that and, medical type stuff, like I've forever gone to the doctor and been told to like lose weight as like sort of a magical solution for anything that I have like going on.
I know. And I do, like, I agree with you. That's such a common thing. And I mean, I think about like when even statistics come out and they're like, America's the most obese country or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, people need to remember that, yes, statistics are supposed to be objective, but there's bias in everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, like, what it's framed as isn't necessarily what it means.
Right. And it's like, it's also like nobody takes the time to ever go one step further and be like, why is this happening?
That's
right?
true.
There's something very important that I want to share with everybody. It's called social determinants of health, right? That what your health is so much more outside of just exercise and food, right? Like a lot of what is determined in your health is dictated by your zip code, okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought about it. Tell me more.
Access to education, access to healthcare, access to the foods that you can eat, there's so many things, like asking why that like maybe, and again, I don't believe that it's true that, the obesity statistics and all of that, but it's like, you really have to think about why that is. We're chronically stressed. We have this, like, we have so much turmoil happening right now. True. Like there's this level of toxic productivity of constantly, which is like, a product of capitalism and, thing,
God.
and it's like, and this is literally what happens. I sit across from people all day long. We talk about this stuff and I'm like, and where does it meet? It meets you trying to go to your refrigerator and figure out what to cook yourself for dinner. Like all of this stuff is being held within you.
Yeah.
Weight on your shoulders, and all of it comes down to then like, okay, well, what am I going to eat? You're thinking about all of this stuff. All of these things are happening, and it's not consciously, it's not, any of that, but it's like, yeah, maybe if we just like, I don't know, we're a little less basic and thought a little bit more about like why these things kind of happen, then maybe we could come up with, better solutions. And to be clear, like people, and I'm going to say this like as something that we talk about, like, within my work, like fat is not bad. Okay. And there is like a very robust, like fat positive kind of community. Like it doesn't have to be like a bad word. I think there's like a lot of reclaiming of the word fat. And so just because somebody's fat, or maybe somebody has, medical kind of things going on with them, doesn't mean that they don't deserve dignity and respect and healthcare and to eat.
And to eat and to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that is it. That is why you make me feel so much better. It's honestly so easy to spiral into. I mean, like you said, so many things are just like dunked into the shame pool. Mm-hmm. And, you know, food is honestly probably one of the top things.
Yeah.
Out of everything in our culture.
Yeah, because it's like it's this individualized responsibility, right? Like, we all go to the grocery store. We all, you know, eat something every day. Hopefully. Please eat.
Please eat.
Please eat.
Please eat. Stop starving. Eat.
You deserve to, no matter what your body looks like.
So the things that we should take away from this are everybody's different.
Yes. Nuance.
Food is not the enemy. Fat is not even necessarily the enemy.
Yeah.
Diet culture is the enemy.
Yeah. Fuck diet culture.
Fuck diet culture. What if you could give what would be the most general, broad, good advice you could give someone when it comes to food? Like, if you were to tell someone, if you want my most general advice as a dietitian when it comes to what you should eat, it would be this.
Okay. And we're talking like what to eat? Kind of sort of thing.
Like if someone is like, I'm like worried that my eating habits are bad and I'm worried that I'm eating the wrong foods. How would you respond to that?
Well, we try to meet food with neutrality, right? Like, let's not, categorize it into good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But try to eat consistently throughout the day. Try to not go over like 4 hours without eating. A lot of times, a lot of these things that kind of happen to people end up being this biological response of like, then, if you go into a meal like feeling too hungry, like that can make you feel nauseous. It can make you feel like you don't know what you're doing, or you're just like sort of grabbing whatever. Again, it's a biological response. You're not doing anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
But it like feels bad for people, and it's like if we just ate consistently throughout the day, every 3 to 4 hours if possible. Snacking is not bad. I know everyone will say.
I love that.
Snacking is not bad. And then, just try to make yourself like a complete meal. Like have, a carbohydrate, like a starch, like have some rice, have a protein, have a fat component. You can always add nutrition to things, right? Like you can always add just focus on adding things, not taking things away, because you're going to feel deprived. And a lot of times physical restriction and mental restriction produce the same result. And so the more you tell yourself you shouldn't have something, the more you're going to want it.
Jesus.
Yep.
I love that advice. Well, we had bird call for lunch today, so we'll be eating again in like 2 hours, which makes me pretty happy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Of
I love this.
course.
Once again, you leave me feeling amazing about food.
Good.
So now it's our first time on season 2 where we have reached the point in the show where it's time to play Sip, Savor, Spill.
Okay.
Are you ready to sip, savor, spill?
Of course. I've been waiting.
Okay. For our friends at home who maybe don't know this, Sip, Savor, Spill is a game we play on The Cameron Show. Every episode with every guest, we have 3 jars: the sip jar, the savor jar, and the spill jar. The sip jar is filled with questions that are pretty low stakes. We're just sipping. We're just talking about some things. These are all personal questions. Savor, we're getting a little deeper. I say that's waist deep. We're, sip is ankle deep. Savor is waist deep. And spill, we're diving in the deep end.
Let's do it.
So I always leave it up to the guest. How do you want to play? Who do you want to read them? Who do you want to pick them? What order do you want to go in? The jars are right behind you. You tell me, how do you want to play?
Okay. Let's go in the traditional order.
Sip, savor, spill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do I was gonna say I'm not a good picker, but I've picked a lot of good things in my life, so
You did.
I'll pick.
Okay, she's getting the sip jar.
Okay, and then
either one of us can answer it first.
okay, sorry. I'm nervous. I'll read it, okay?
Oh my God, I love that. What does it say?
This is terrible.
No. Is it in blue ink? Did Zach write it?
What's a snack you're embarrassed to admit you love?
That is so perfect.
Zach.
Oh, no.
We don't have to be embarrassed about anything.
No, I'm actually so happy you're the person who picked that question. Well, okay. This could also be like a snack you're embarrassed to love because it's like, well, I mean, you literally just said, let's not label foods as good and bad. But like, even if it's like, I love eating this that's normally for children. Or like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know mine.
Okay, what is it?
So, Costco sells big packs of fruit by the foot. I'm not embarrassed of this by any means,
No.
but like if it's like I'm changing this question.
She's out and proud.
I was like, what is like your, like your nostalgic, sort of like childhood thing?
Yeah, that's
that
great.
You're eating as an adult. I was
We're
like,
reframing.
yes, fruit by the foot.
Okay.
Nora calls it fruit to toes. So it will forever be fruit to toes.
Fruit to toes. Nora's her daughter, by the way.
Yeah, she's 4.
She's the most brilliant, beautiful, perfect 4-year-old ever. Okay, so that's a good reframing of that question.
Yeah.
Because also, like, I don't snack on anything I'm embarrassed about snacking on. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, if someone's come over and opened my, because I honestly do feel like someone is definitely, you know what, I will say maybe my most weird thing is I eat so much popcorn.
Oh,
so like my friend Michael has a Costco membership. Producer Michael, shout out. And so I'll have him take me to Costco because every like 5 weeks I have to buy a 48 pack of popcorn.
They have such big ones. It's great.
Huge, heavy box.
We go through it in our house too.
I mean, I eat popcorn is probably my most commonly eaten snack. I eat it probably every night.
Yeah.
I love popcorn. So I'm going to go with that, but I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah. No,
I'm out and proud.
Popcorn.
If anything, I'm embarrassed just because it's the same thing my dad used to eat every night.
Now that's embarrassing.
Now that's embarrassing. Okay, great. See, that was so easy.
I'm so glad.
Sip checked. I am so happy you're the person that picked that question.
Me too. I'm like,
God.
I'm going to, if I can see any of these, I'm going to like steer. Oh, it's another blue one.
Oh, great. That means that my cousin Zach wrote it. But I will say he didn't come up with them. They're from ChatGPT.
This is very sweet.
Oh, my God.
When do you feel the most confident?
Oh, my God.
Why don't you go first?
Why don't I go first?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I feel the most confident when I think this is very abnormal. It is a way that I know I'm probably unique from a lot of people, but I truly feel the most confident if I'm doing this. Like if I'm on the podcast or specific, like one of the guests that we will be having this season is my dear friend, David Blatt, who was just recently on Molly Smith's podcast. He is the producer of Mortified.
Oh, okay.
Mortified is a stage show that I've done, I don't know, probably 7 times at this point, where you go on stage and you read something mortifying. I feel the most confident, ironically, reading the soap opera I wrote when I was 11 years old, Buenos Amigos, on stage, and it is mortifying.
Yeah.
But everyone is like finding joy in it because I think everyone relates to having done something cringe.
Like unifying.
It honestly does feel unifying. Like I feel confident in that I know it's funny because it's so bad. But I've lived long enough to be able to look back on it and laugh about it with people. And that almost feels really like healing for that 11-year-old who was feeling like I was too fat to do musical theater. And so I resorted to my bedroom and wrote a soap opera. And now to like have that become such a nice thing probably adds to it. But, you know, commanding a stage, I'm a Leo through and through.
I was gonna say.
We all know it's true. In my Instagram bio, it says, what is the word? Like, I can't stop being a Leo. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That is such a big part of me. I think that's probably why I'm like that. But I would say that's when I'm the most confident, when I'm ironically laughing at myself with other people. And it's in a kind, funny way. What about you?
I love that. So I think in a professional sense, because I
Okay.
am like Miss Imposter Syndrome.
Oh,
In
that's
many,
relatable.
in many regards, regards in my life. But in a professional sense, I remember like starting my job and talking, like, communicating with other members of the team, like therapists, doctors, that sort of thing. And I remember like kind of freaking out and being like, I don't know what to do with this person. Like, oh my gosh, all that. And then now I've had people come to me and start freaking out about stuff. And I was
Yep.
like, I've made it. I have made it. If I'm like, I am the safe space for somebody
That's amazing.
to be like, I don't know what to do. Are we, is this correct? Like all of those things, and being able to be like that sound, like sort of voice of reasoning. But in a personal sense, I feel confident in motherhood sometimes. When I would say my daughter Nora, Margot is one, so she like we'll get there. But with Nora, when she says something like sweet or kind or
Oh my God,
inquisitive,
I'm gonna cry.
like even just her
I
being like,
know.
Mom, how was your sleep? Just
Stop.
being, like
I
things.
can't.
Well, yeah,
I
she
need
was
my
like,
fan.
she's like,
my
are you gonna cry?
I might. I'm in my crying era.
I was like, please don't. Yeah. Or like you heard her today.
I
being
did
like,
hear her on the phone. That's why I'm emotional.
Mommy, how's your trip? Like,
Oh.
and that makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
You are. Okay, wow. We're not even in the spill. I'm literally tearing up because you know what I was about to say is like, I love our kids. I don't really have kids. I pretend there's a 25 and 26-year-old I pretend are my kids. But yeah, that is so true. How sometimes your kids can make you feel really confident.
Yeah.
Or like the worst person in the world.
Yeah, it's
That's the way it
both.
goes.
We take the good with the bad.
And that's how you know.
Sorry.
I love that. Oh, no, feel free. We're moving on to the spill question because she's ready to take a deep dive.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, this is your handwriting.
Oh, I did this then.
What's a memory that shaped who you are today for better or worse?
Oh, let's do one of each.
Okay.
Let's start both with worse and then better. That way we end on a positive note. Okay.
You go first.
Like, for instance, I'm thinking of if I were to say what's a memory that shaped who I am today for the worst. It is... Actually, that's really hard to say.
Yeah.
I'm amazing.
Well, but I also feel like, like if you don't live your life like with regrets or anything like that, like I feel like, not to sound woo-woo, like everything's a learning experience.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess anybody could say like, I have a traumatic memory that shaped me in this way for the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, I think in most cases there's not a defining moment for a lot of, I mean, for some people there certainly are, but for most people I think it's like there's not one thing that is like, this changed who I am for the worst. So maybe we just do for the best.
Yeah.
That's honestly better. But a specific memory, I mean, there's so many obviously for everybody, but I'm trying to think specifically. I know I could name one with you, but there's so many. You know what is so weird? What came to mind, and I don't know why, so we might have to unpack this right now.
Okay.
What came to mind for some reason is us in the townhouse. Probably because I'm looking at you, but I remember two things that are really nice things you did for me.
Aww.
Number one, it's when you knew my favorite thing that you would cook was the stuffed shells.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, they're so good. And I remember one day I came home from work and you were making them because you knew they were my favorite.
I know, I'm gonna cry.
I know. And the other thing is when I graduated from college a year before you did. I finished in 2014.
Yeah.
And when on my last day of school, I came upstairs and on my bed, you had the little gift package with like candy in it and stuff. And I think about that because obviously it was a joke that I was the boy wife and you were the girl husband. But I do believe that because you're the only person I ever lived with, and we did have that parasocial partner relationship, it did give me a little taste of what it is like to have a partner. And it did make me
Oh my gosh.
it did make me like sharing responsibilities with you and sharing friends with you and sharing space with you and sharing vulnerability with you or not. Yes, Mackenzie is the person I had the no crying rule in the house with.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
I will
Chad.
acknowledge, and I would never do that again now. I think like those memories shaped who I am now because they are probably what first made me start to realize when I thought I never wanted to be with someone romantically that actually one day I probably could. Even though we were obviously never a romantic item. But I could be a partner, a life partner with someone.
Oh my God.
I know. So good luck following that up.
I was going to say that's terrible to follow up, but thank you for saying all of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of ones. I mean, I think from like our time together, I think in like that same way of like learning, not even learning how to be like sharing responsibilities, because I had like been in other situations where I had lived with somebody and like, you know, share, like I had a lot of roommates and, you know, and like shared that kind of responsibility. But I feel like even through your lack of vulnerability at times, you were still able to show how much you cared for me, you know, in different ways. A lot of times it was, again, don't get out your card, you're poor, you know? But like, you didn't, but you didn't have to, you know?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
So in that regard, in, you know, in our friendship, that was, you know.
That did shape who you are in our friendship. Because I think it also made you realize probably that, like, the way I act isn't necessarily always linked up with the way I feel.
Yeah. And I knew you'd come around.
And there's nobody like me.
There is no one like you.
For better or for worse. So how's that? For better or for worse?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's great. I mean, is that all you want to answer for that? It's okay if it is. It was on theme.
Yeah. I would say just like for my life, memory was like sort of that shaped my life going forward. Was when I was in when I was applying to nursing school and I did not get in.
Oh. Do I know this? I don't think I do.
So we weren't living together because I was still living with my ex.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm saying that is sort of a lot, but it was like a living situation of where I like left that living. Well, no, I was living with Katie at the time, but anyways.
Okay.
Living situations. And anyways, I did not get into nursing school, and somebody that was much older and wiser than me, kind of had said like, well, you'll do whatever you need to do, whatever you have to do to like chase your dream, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do anything to chase this dream. Like, I'm not willing to do any of these things to accomplish this dream. So I had to get a new dream.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. And so then I took that as like when I was applying for internships, which I did not match like the first time around. And I was like, I will do anything. I cannot imagine myself doing anything else.
And that's how you know.
That's
very good advice.
Yeah, it was great advice.
Too bad you're not going to be here when we do our advice episode this season. You'd be a great advice. I mean, I will say I don't go to many people for advice. You're one person I would go to.
Aww.
I know. It's because your heart is so big. I love you too. Wow, well, you did it. You sipped, you savored, and you spilled.
I did it.
You spilled the tea today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. I'm very, very happy that you're season 2 first guest.
Season 2 opener.
Season 2 opener. And we have so many more things in store for you this season. So please stay with us on The Cameron Show. We're going to be here every Thursday pretty much everywhere now. This is not season 1. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on Amazon now, iHeart, everywhere. Spotify, Apple, you name it. I look forward to it. Do you remember what I sign off with?
I love you. Something. Don't be a dick.
Live your best life. Don't be a dick. I love you. Goodbye.